Good afternoon, Brian.
Good afternoon.
Brian, what can you offer us that other candidates cannot?
Well, having been a freelance controller and accountant for many, many years, I have been exposed to many different businesses in many different industries. I've seen the success factors required to make them profitable. And I've been able to use these experiences to help companies grow, to keep their focus, and to maintain their goals. I have extensive experience in full cycle accounting and in other important aspects of finances of a company, such as including but not limited to cash management, cash flow projections, internal controls, financial analysis, budgeting, finding cost efficiencies, and doing all of these things on a timely basis.
Very good, Brian. And do you have any other additional strengths that you would like to add to that?
Well, people tell me that I have a very infectious personality. They like me. I'm an excellent team player and I work very well on my own. I'm able to quickly determine the needs of those I'm reporting to in anticipation of them actually asking. I'm a loyal hard worker and do whatever I have to get things done. I'm not afraid of long hours, and I'm not afraid to ask questions because these ultimately help to get the job done. I also get along very well with external professionals, and I understand what they need and can easily give it to them.
Very good. And Brian, how successful have you been so far?
Well, I had my own business that ran for more than 20 years, and I provided an excellent service. My business was able to grow. This past year, I took on a one-year contract, and I developed a tremendous rapport with the owners, and I think that they were hoping the incumbent was not going to return. I gave them much more than they ever had from anyone who held the same position. Even after the incumbent did return, I was told that I shouldn't be surprised if they called me back. You see, I try very hard not to give you what you want. I try to give you a lot more. And I'll guarantee you this, you'll get a lot more.
Very good. And Brian, what are your limitations, your biggest mistakes? And that's provided you have some.
Well, I'm not so foolish to think that I have no limitations. We all do. If you ask me something and I don't know the answer right away, I'll tell you. But I'll do my best to research the question, and as soon as I have an answer, I'll give it to you backed up by whatever research I've done.
Very good. And how long would it take you to make a meaningful contribution to our firm?
Realistically, that's hard to say. I want to promise I can make a meaningful contribution on the first day, but the first thing I'll do is make a study of how things get done right now. I'll ask questions of everyone involved in each cycle and see where improvements can be made. In some cases, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. As they say, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But in many cases, I'll be able to determine what recommendations for improvements there need to be.
Very good. And can you give me a situation in which you had to work under pressure or meet a deadline?
Sure. Most recently, on the contract that I spoke of earlier, the owners were contemplating an expansion. They made their appointments with the banks and were told what needed to be provided. Among the things required, they needed cash flow projections and pro forma financial statements, not only for the expanded business, but for the existing business as well. I'm very confident using spreadsheets and developed a few to help them gather this information. I worked very closely with them, but in the end, it was up to me to put these projections and financials together. Of course, they wanted it yesterday, that is, as soon as possible. I was able to focus my attention on this project, and it got done before the bank was expecting it. Based on the information provided, the bank granted the loans necessary for their plans.
Very good. Well, it certainly sounds to me like you know how to work under pressure and meet deadlines. Finally, Brian, when will we be able to start?
Well, yesterday.
An even better answer. Employers like to hear that. Well, Brian, thank you very much for your time and the best of luck to you in your search.
Thank you very much.
and enjoy your day.
Thanks, and you too. Now, if you